And we are live. Welcome back to our weekly live, the Annie's Flock weekly live. My name is Annie. And in today's live, sorry, I might be distracted because our topic is out in the room here currently. So the topic that was chosen today, which actually was really tight, from the Instagram poll and the YouTube poll, but the topic for this week's live is we're going to be talking about budgies. So yes, my two budgies are out in the room here. They're playing in the playing area above the cages. So we'll see if they will eventually come see me. I have some spray millets with me, but they just had breakfast. So they're not really food motivated. Let's just put it that way. Before we get into the subject, there's still nobody on the live. So as per usual, I will take that little bit of a moment to quickly remind you that every Saturday, 10 to 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, I will explain you what's going on with my budgies later, why I'm being distracted, but that's okay, because that's what we're talking about. So every Saturday, 10 to 10:30 Pacific time, I go live on the YouTube channel with a different topic that is being chosen by followers, subscribers on my Instagram page, Annie's Flock Instagram page. If you still don't follow me on there, you want to look at the description box of the slide and the link will be there. I put the poll up on the Thursday or Friday prior to the live, as well as under post tab on my YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe to be able to see those polls and to vote for your favorite topic. All right, so let's start by talking about those little budgies here. So I have two budgies, Tit Fluff and Baby Blue. I want to say semi-tame. Am I going to be just talking about my own budgies? No, I'm going to be talking about budgies in general. And definitely if you have questions about budgies, please put those in the chat and I will gladly answer your questions. So let's start. I have a few topics here that are aligned regarding budgies that I would like to talk about. But let's start with the overall behavior of a budgie, let's just say. I honestly don't really like to say that a certain species of bird is they're all the same. I think they really do have, just give me one sec. Okay. Let's just go right into why I'm being distracted and I need to look at my budgies, what they're doing right now. So for those who don't know, I have four birds. I have an Indian ringneck, a black-cape conure, and two budgies. Budgies, one of the traits, especially if there's more than one, they tend to be a little bit of a bully towards other birds. Not all of them, but I find, so I have to look them up because, so I have right now, my budgies are out and they go on my Indian ringneck and my Conyers cage, and then they bug them a little bit. So, and my Indian ringneck is kind of a rescue, so she doesn't like other birds, really. And especially if they gang on her and they want to bully her, she's not gonna be happy and she can make a lot of damage. So I have to kind of have a peek to see what's going on, right? And hopefully they'll come see me, but they just have breakfast, so. All right, let's see. I'm gonna have to pull my glasses I have. Mostly spiders. I love birds, yay. Mostly, oh yeah, spiders. Ooh, I don't really like spiders. New subscriber, awesome. Okay, So yeah, if you have any questions about budgies, let me know. Put that in the chat and I'll answer them, okay? All right, so overall, budgies are super fun. They're super cute. They're full of energy. They're super chatty. They actually can talk. Mine, they don't, but I have one that makes, the male makes all kinds of weird noises. He's so cute. Sorry again. I might be a little bit distracted here. Hopefully they'll come see me. Hey, baby blue, come on, baby. You want to come see me? Come on. But they really don't care. They're not food motivated and they have each other. They're playing and they really don't care about me. That's another thing I want to talk about for budgies when you have more than one. And I think in general with birds, sometimes it's the same phenomenon that happens. Yeah, so what was I saying? I'm distracting with those guys. Yeah, so they're really playful, they're really cute, they're really chatty, they're super cute, all kinds of different colors. They have so much energy, but if you have other birds, they can be a little bit of a bully towards the other birds. And I know they're tiny, but the problem with that is that they're tiny. So if you have another bird that is much bigger, the budgie doesn't see. And I think it's part of their characters also. When they're with each other, they really communicate in each other's space. Like they're really in each other's bubbles. They're really close to each other. And some bigger parrots are a little bit more chill and they don't like to have another bird in their bubble or right in their face, like chattering, you know? So it's just different body language, different type of personalities, different way of communicating that sometimes doesn't really work. So you just have to be careful with that because those tiny little budgies are super tiny. So they're really fragile. So if you don't want to have an accident or incident that happens, you need to watch those. So that's why I'm like looking at them right now. So here, maybe I can just turn that around to show you a little bit. Okay, so I don't know if you can see them. They're on Lucy's cage right now on the top, like right here. Okay, back to me. All right, so what else can I say about budgies? Let's talk about, let's say, their diet. So diet-wise, for the longest time, I think people thought that budgies, because, okay, so that's the thing. Let's start from the beginning. There are a lot of people that are buying their budgies from a pet store, right? Because they're small, they're cheap, and pet store, I mean, guilty here. My first budgie was an impulse buy in a pet store. So I'm super guilty of this. And yeah, what do they tell you? They eat seeds and you buy a bag of seed mix with a budgie on it. And this is what you think they should be eating. And in fact, that is not what they should be eating. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be eating any seeds. That's not true. But you just have to be careful because seeds is really fat. So in the wild, okay, budgies, they will fly all day long to find food and long distance. So yes, they need fatty food. That's important. But in captivity, it's not the same. First off, they don't fly in the wind all day long to find food for miles and miles. Most of our budgies are in a cage. You know, that's another thing that I would like to talk about regarding what type of cage you should have. But even mine, they have a big flight cage, so they can fly around in a cage, and they do get time out and they fly around, but it's not the same as flying all day long outside. So what they should eat in their diet is, well, I'm going to tell you how I do it, and then you can modify a little bit. But basically, all my birds actually, they get this. So I feed my birds including my budgie, a chop in the morning, which the one that I use, I really like. I think it's very balanced, and I can make a big batch and it lasts like 2 months. I just freeze it and then I just take what I need, and so it's just perfect for me. It's called the seasonal feeding system from Burt Tricks, and you can totally look those guys up on YouTube. They have their YouTube page, and so what I did is I purchased their cookbook, and in the cookbook they have that seasonal feeding system recipe, which is 3 recipes that goes with the season, what nutrient they need and everything. So I give them that in the morning, and it's fresh food, right? So you don't want to leave this all day long. So I want to say like very, very max 2 to 3 hours in the cage. Past this, it's going to get spoiled and then bacteria gets in there, and you don't want to do that. Hopefully you can hear me well. Now my conure is like freaking out a little bit. I think she wants to be out, but that would be too much chaos for this live. We're not doing that. So, and then they get their dinner later in the afternoon. I give them pellets. So the pellets that I don't know if you saw Baby Blue, he just flew above me. The pellet that I give them, I give the same pellet for all my birds again. It's from Tops Parrot, and it's like a cold press pellet. They have different sizes, but I use the same size for all my birds because I'm not going to buy different sizes, and it's cold pressed. So my budgies, they have no issue to eat that. Okay, I got distracted again. And it's cold pressed, organic. There's no filler or anything fat in it. It's just very, very healthy. And then they do get in their foraging toys a little bit of seed mix. Like a seed mix for budgie. And it's only in their foraging toy because they have to work a little bit harder to get those. And usually I'm going to put those foraging toy in a place where they have to hang on it, or like it's not super accessible, or they're going to have to work a little bit harder to get those seeds. But definitely budgies, they do need a seed mix in their diet because they do spend a lot more energy than other parrots. They don't stop. They're moving all the time, right? So they do spend a lot of their energy. And my budgies are in the flight cage, so they fly in their cage almost all day long unless they're napping. And then they get time out as well as the cage. So very important to have that kind of balance. And when I talk about seed mix, I don't give a lot. So I want to say I give about 1.5 tablespoons per day for both of them. So yeah, so basically you have to have a balanced diet, a mix of veggies, healthy pellets. So I tried multiple pellets, and I have to say there's a lot of pellets that people are selling. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Lucy. She's not happy with the budgies on her cage. Okay, we're good. The last thing I want to happen is have one of the budgies' feet snap or something. Yeah, so I tried a few things, and then when you start really looking at the ingredients in pellets that they sell at the pet store, you realize there's a lot of junk in there. So just be careful what you buy. Just look at the ingredient of your pellet. So recap: diet, balanced diet for budgies. Fresh veggies. Okay, wait, I need to. Okay, baby. Come on, baby. Okay. That was a little close. So a healthy, balanced diet of a mix of fresh veggies, healthy pellets and seed mix, and that should be it. That should do it. Let's talk about the noise level. So if you're thinking of getting a budgie and you're not sure if this is the right fit for you, now, okay, let's talk about, before we talk about the noise level, let's talk about what we hear all the time, which is beginner birds. I want a bird, but I'm a beginner. What should I get as a beginner bird? I don't really agree with what people say usually regarding beginner birds, that budgies are beginner birds. So budgies are way more, depending on what type of a relationship you want to have with your bird, honestly, but they're not that easy, actually. They're not that easy to tame. I find in all my birds that I train, the budgies are the hardest for multiple reasons. And if I have time, I'm going to get into this. Or if you have questions about this, let me know. But they're not that easy, really not. Oh my gosh, this is chaos. You want to come here, baby? Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Baby Blue. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, baby. They're really bugging Lucy, my Indian ringneck, and she's like not having it. Okay, come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Okay, what are you doing? Oh, geez. I wonder if I'm going to have to put them back in because I'm just not able to supervise as much. Both of them are. That's what that's what I mean by they're a little bit of on the bully side. They don't have to be on Lucy's cage. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so they're right here on top of Lucy's cage. They don't have to be there. They have a full play area. And then they have another play stand. Ooh, right here. They could come see me because I have some spray millet. No, they'd rather be sitting on Lucy's cage, my Indian ringneck, that is not, sorry, I'm moving this around, that is not having it. They'd rather bug her a little bit. So anyways, that's the story. So in my opinion, they are not a beginner bird. I think as a beginner, what you should be doing instead of getting a beginner bird, you should research, look at videos like this, that they're talking about specific species and how they act and what their behavior and what is their people experiences, not just only, oh, I read this online and now I'm talking about all I read online. No. I'm talking about real life experiences. And oh my gosh, I need to come back. Okay, you guys go there. Okay. What is the real life experience that people have with budgies? And then this will vary as well, because if you get a hand-tamed budgie that was hand-raised and hand-fed, and a budgie that you purchased in a pet store that is absolutely untamed, you won't have the same experience either. So really look at what you want. Why do you want a pet bird? What do you want to do? How long do you want it? What experience do you want to have with that bird? I mean, a budgie, people think that these babies, they live like 2 to 3 years. No. We're talking about 10 years here, not 2 to 3. If you're a budgie, I mean, things happen. But if a healthy budgie that has nothing wrong, lives only 2 years, you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? They're probably not on a good diet, and they probably died of a heart attack, or you probably have candles all over your house, or toxic spray or whatever, right? But if you're doing things right, your budgie is going to live 10 years. So all these things Think about what do you want, why do you want, where are you going to put your bird, like all these things, what type of relationship you want with your bird, and then do your research and get the bird you want. That's what a beginner bird is, definitely. Because not everybody will want to end up like me with 4 birds or more. I mean, maybe this is your thing, but it's a lot of work to have those 4 birds. Okay, so let's talk about noise level. So if you are in an apartment or, you know, somewhere where you can't really have loud birds, I have to say budgies are really good for that because they are not loud. I don't know if you could hear this, but they keep chattering. And then once in a while, I have my conure here that screams a little bit, and it's like this. Did you hear that? It's way louder, and that was like pretty subtle. Like that was a small scream. It's way louder than my budgies. And then if my Indian ringnet starts screaming, oh my gosh. So noise level, budgies are really good. Having said that, budgies, okay, listen, can we hear this? They don't stop. They chatter all the time, specifically males. So my female is a little bit more quiet. She has her moment. But my male, he's chatting like this. Not 24/7, sorry. The 12 hours of sleep that he gets that. He's not chatting. But during the day, he chats like this all day long. So if this is something you think that could get on your nerves, well, first, if you think that noise in general gets on your nerves, do not get a pet bird. But if you think that this kind of chattiness would get on your nerve, don't get a budgie because they, especially not a male, because they don't stop. It's like all the time. They're back again on Lucy's cage. Jeez. And then if you think that having 2 budgies is going to be more noisy than having 1, so if you think that by just having 1 budgie, it's not going to be noisy, you are wrong, especially if you get a male, because your male, I swear, Baby Blue, my male, he's literally just going to chat at a toy or whatever. He's just going to be chatting by himself. He doesn't need anyone else or any other birds to chat to. He can chat on his own. It's a budgie thing. They just all the time. I'm gonna take a sip. Oh my gosh, it goes so fast. It's already 23 minutes in. Okay, let's talk about training. If you're interested in training your pet bird and you want to get a pet bird to train, and you're thinking, oh, a budgie is small and, you know, it's going to be easy because it's a small bird, they won't bite me, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. You're in for a surprise. Yes, they don't bite as hard as a bigger parrot. Fair enough. But they're not that easy to train. And the reason why I find that they're really hard to train is that they're really fast. So if you know a little bit about how to train a parrot, most of the time you have to capture the behavior you want. And because they're so fast, sometimes you're late on the capturing, and then it just messes up your whole training because the bird doesn't know what you want. So because they're so fast, I find it very difficult. The other thing is, a bigger parrot, you can use like a single treat because you have like safflower seeds, sunflower seeds, and then, I mean, those are the smallest, but you can go up and up and up with like all kinds of like walnuts and pecans and pine nuts and all that stuff. But budgies are really tiny, so they don't eat that. So you train them with spray millet. You can't give them like one little spray millet at a time. That's not going to work. So you have to work with like pieces like this, right? what I find is that, and again, that's my own experience, and every birds are a little bit different. And I'm going to give you the best thing about this is that my female, Titfluff, it's fine. Like she's going to eat whatever I'm going to give her, and then I'm going to remove it, and then we're going to continue with the training. Baby Blue, when he sees this, he wants the whole thing. So if I give it to him, I let it nibble on it, and then I remove it, he's going to bite me. He's going to bite me because he's going to be like, what are you doing? I want the whole thing. Why are you removing this? He gets upset, and then he just bites me, right? So I have to give him like smaller pieces, or I have to be really fast in the training. Like I need to you need to be fast. That's the thing. When you train budgies, you have to be extremely fast because otherwise you're not at the same pace as them, and they kind of get frustrated and upset. So, yeah, training is not easy. The other thing I find, if you have more than one, it's even harder because you have to, so the most reinforcing thing for a pet bird, and especially a budgie, is to be with its own kind. So right now, both of my budgies, what's the most reinforcing thing in the world, in their world, it's each other and food. So they don't care about me. That's the thing. So if you have more than one, when it gets a little bit harder because they want to be with each other. So to separate them to train is hard, but then to train together, it's difficult. But sometimes it helps as well to have another one because I find that they have different personalities, and then you always have one of them that is a little bit more curious or a little bit more fearless. And then they follow each other all the time, right? They're flocks, right? They're flock bird, social bird, whatever. And so when there's more than one, it's a flock, right? So they follow each other and they do what the other one is doing. So if you have the fearless one that comes and do whatever you ask them to do and do the trick while you're training, well, the other one's going to look at it and go, oh, I can do it too. So they help each other out in that way. So it's an interesting dynamic for sure when you have more than one, when you want to train your bird. Same thing to try to tame them. I find a little bit more difficult because again, if you're taming one, but then the other one flies away, then the other one's going to follow. Like they have that flock dynamic, and you're just like a third wheeler in the dynamic, really, just let's be honest. So if they hadn't had breakfast earlier, they would have been really attracted to this. I would have been showing the spray millet, and they would just fly to me and then land on my hand and eat that spray millet. But because they're not hungry right now, they really don't care about me. They just want to be with each other. The other thing, there's a toy in the play area that they are obsessed with. They just love it so much. They're destroying that thing like crazy. So again, that's more reinforcing. So the idea when you train your budgie is to try to find something that is more reinforcing than whatever they're doing or whatever is their environment at this point. And sometimes that's a pretty big challenge because right now, even my Indian ringneck that is not having it with them is more reinforcing because bugging her is more reinforcing than coming to see me. Now, if you have just one, if you do want to have like a really bonded budgie to you, I would highly recommend to just get one. Definitely. That's going to be much easier on you. What time is it? Oh, we just have a few seconds. There was so much more that I wanted to talk about regarding budgies. So I guess maybe we could eventually do a part 2 of this, or bring back the topic and talk about what I didn't have the time to talk about. Or maybe I could do a video, a pre-recorded video, and talk about the other things, because I wanted to talk about, I mean, I did talk about a little bit about one budgie versus multiple budgies. But I would like to go a little bit more in details in regards to this. What kind of cage to get for your budgie or budgies. I mean, I did talk a bit about how they not always get along with other birds and why, but I could go a little bit more in details. And I mean, that's all I've been thinking of so far, but there's so much more to talk about regarding budgies, to be honest. And I'm sure some of you have questions. So if you do have questions things that I haven't talked about regarding budgies and you want to know, please leave that in the comments. So this live is going to, once it's loaded, completely downloaded, I'm gonna leave it on my page, as well as all the other lives. They're all there, and you can watch it on replay. And then if you have things you want to know or things you want me to answer, concerns or questions you have regarding budgies or your own budgies that you have, put that in the comments, and I could either compile all those questions and make a video regarding and answering all of those, or just do another live and just answer all these questions live. And you can even tell me which one you would like, which format you would prefer. And I'm sorry we talked about budgie, but you didn't really see mine because they are absolutely not interested in me today. But you know what? That's what it is, having budgies. Especially when you have more than one. They're just having fun right now. They don't care about me. So thanks for being here. I will see you next week on Saturday, 10 to 10:30. Pacific time, and don't forget to subscribe and check out for those polls. And my Indian neck is going to attack my budgie, and oh my gosh, this is chaos. That's it. Bye.